17F and 17M, am I being unreasonable, jealous, or are my feelings valid? My BF and I have been together almost a year now. We're in high school, and a week or two before we started dating, one of my friends, acquaintances, let's call her A, told me that she liked him. At this time almost everyone in our grade knew that he had a crush on me and was planning to ask me out, and that I liked him back as well. We weren't close friends and I wasn't aware of this before, and to be frank, it didn't really matter to me. Moving on, since A and my BF became friends and lived very close by each other, they met up alone once or twice after we started dating, and my BF even told me about those times, even though I didn't really care because they were just friends, but I still appreciated. However, she called me twice to tell me that he flirted with her and to not tell him that she told me that. I find that hard to believe because he was the one who told me about the meetings first, and the things she interpreted as flirting could have easily been jokes or friendly gestures, which was confirmed when I went ahead and asked my BF about it anyways. However, as they got a bit closer as friends and he sent her a text that made me feel uncomfortable, which he himself told me about because he thought of it as a joke. I let him know about how upset this made me feel, and he apologized and said he'll be better. All this aside, she told him over the phone how she had a crush on him before and how she had wanted to hook up with him once before we started dating. I find this an extremely weird thing to tell someone's boyfriend, but again it didn't bother me too much because my BF didn't respond in a flirty way at all. Getting to the point, the problem is now that my BF knows that them hanging out together makes me uncomfortable, but he still had a late night walk with A alone after they had played basketball together and was totally fine with it when she put her arm around him and her head on his shoulder while walking. While I appreciate that he told me about it, it still makes me very sad that he would allow that, especially when it doesn't really happen with his other friends. I genuinely want to make sure that I'm not being irrational and am looking for brutally honest responses, just looking to better myself. Smile. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend keeps hanging out with a girl that used to have a crush on him and still flirts with him even though he knows it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not mad at him about this, but it still makes me very sad because this is the only girl I don't like that he hangs out with, but he doesn't seem to care. He doesn't flirt with her anymore but doesn't seem to mind or doesn't stop her when she does. Sounds like your BF enjoys the attention from men, the reaction you give when he mentions it to you. Sure, he's upfront about when it happens, but he is fully aware about you being uncomfortable, and yet he continues to allow A to flirt with him. He might be leading her on and keeping her as backup should you decide to break up with him. Have another conversation. If it continues, then you know where he stands on your relationship. Your feelings are valid and it may be a good time to talk about boundaries with him and how her putting her head on him crosses some of yours. Your feelings reasonable here. Your friend is crossing the line over and over again, and your BF is letting it happen / hanging out with her too much. The adult thing to do here would be to talk to your boyfriend first, tell him that there isn't anything wrong with them becoming closer as friends, but he has to stop letting her cross boundaries and disrespect your relationship. Then you need to chat with your friend and say the same thing, but that you feel as though she is crossing boundaries and you'd like her to stop. Try to make him understand about how you feel and then give him an ultimatum. At the end of the day, our happiness matters, and for that you need to trust him. Thank you. Smile. I'm trying my best to trust him. It's just that after the texting incident I'm worried of when he's with her. I don't feel right giving him an ultimatum though, because he didn't really do anything wrong per se, and that's why I'm so unsure of what to do. Straight up ask him how he would feel if you were doing these things to a guy friend admitting feelings for you, letting him hold you, etc. Some people cannot sympathize until you force them to empathize. Your boyfriend sounds dense, which is understandable because he's young, but he is still old enough to know better. Found out my 29M wife 25F, is secretly seeking validation from her ex-boyfriends. Went through my wife's phone and found out she's been chatting with her ex-boyfriends and has kept this hidden from me. These guys were flirting with her, talking dirty, and she's made no effort to shut them down. She didn't flirt back with them though. She has asked if she looks nice a few times. She refused getting back with them, saying she's now married to someone perfect, which is reassuring, I guess. They were messaging not so often, from the time we met until August last year, so it's completely stopped now. She set a boundary mid-relationship that we're not to be in contact with our ex-partners. But here she is doing just that. I don't know what to think because there's not anything to suggest she's actually cheating, but I get the vibe that she maybe enjoys the attention. I'm not sure why she wants that if she says she's happy with me. Why is she keeping this hidden? Why does she not trust me to be in contact with my past girlfriends? Too long didn't read. Wife maybe likes validation from her ex-boyfriends, don't know why. Asking if she looks nice is flirting. Also, if you made a boundary together and she is crossing it, that is a problem. In my opinion, what she's doing is in fact a form of cheating. You gotta confront her. She's going outside the marriage for romantic purposes. It's effectively a group of EAs. She's cheating. I think that, from what you describe here, she does like the attention, and I believe that the fact that she is doing exactly what she asked you not to do says a lot about her. What would you like to do with this information? Also, does she have any other double standard? I was still surprised, so I think I need time to cool off before taking any action. Right now I want to ask her whether she's been in touch with her exes since we've been together before I tell her that I already know. She has other double standards since we married, but they're quite minor and I don't let her get away with it. It goes from this to actual cheating fairly easy. Besides, what she is doing is an absolute betrayal. If you can't do it in front of your spouse, you shouldn't be doing it. You need to be asking her these questions if you want to find out the answers. It's never a good idea to keep in contact with ex-lovers when you are in a serious relationship with someone. It is completely disrespectful to your marriage that the messages are sexual in nature and she's hiding them from you. That's just asking for trouble. Yeah, even though she didn't reciprocate it, the fact that she didn't at least block them once it got sexual is not sitting right with me. Plan on asking her tomorrow once I've calmed down and thought it through. My girlfriend F19 and I am 21 make about the same amount of money, but I pay way more bills, yet I'm expected to spoil her all the time and pay for stuff when we go out. Hey, this is my first Reddit post, so if I'm not doing something right by any chance, don't be hard on me. I'll provide some context to explain this a little bit better. My girlfriend and I are college students who started dating about 8 months ago. I make a little bit more than she does, but not by a lot. We both live with our parents, and while she's in a position where she doesn't have to pay any bills aside her phone bill, it's not exactly the case for me. Over half of my income goes to bills while she gets to save hers. I still get to save, but not nearly as much as I would have loved to. She lives about an hour away from me, and when we hang out I'm the one who drives there, or if by any chance she comes here, I give her some money for it. I buy the food when we hang out. If we drive somewhere, I buy the gas. If we go to the store to buy stuff, I pay for them. Now I don't really have a lot of problems with any of these, as I started including these expenses in my budget at the beginning of the month. But I always seem to exceed my budget. Why? Because she has a way of wanting things randomly that are unnecessary. For example, we hung out one day and all of a sudden she wants us to get our nails done. I hesitated because I really didn't budget to spend any money for that, but I saw how excited she was, so I went ahead, and when we got there she told them to give me a pedicure and a manicure and also paint my nails. The women there get all excited that a guy wants to do stuff like that, and they're all talking about it. They even gave me a small discount. Now I'm stuck because it's not even a question of whether I want it or not. They're asking me what color I want. I tell them I'm not interested, but now everyone is pushing me to get it, and at this point if I said no, my girlfriend would have had a nasty attitude after very common response. Another example was when I told her she could buy anything from the mall under a certain amount. I budgeted this, and she gets something way more expensive, tells me she will send the extra amount to me later that day, and when I ask her for the money she gets annoyed that I'm fussing over it. Another example was when we go window shopping and we walk into Bath and Body Works and she decides she wants to buy some candles, and when we get to the register to pay she asks in front of the cashier if I wanted to buy it for her with a puppy dog face. Of course I let my pride control me and I said yes so I don't look broke in front of everyone. This specific incident happened about 2 months ago, and guess what? She has never used those candles. To be honest, I really just want everyone's advice on this. Understand that there's a lot of things left out in this, so I wouldn't mind explaining further if needed. I also don't want to make her out to be some kind of manipulative gold digger. I love and appreciate her. She tries to be independent as much as she can. She buys stuff for me on special occasions as well, and to an extent she takes my financial situation into consideration. It's just that she does this amongst other stuff way too often, and sometimes it could run me as high as $200, $300. I just want non-biased advice on the whole thing. If you think I'm wrong or overreacting, go ahead and let me know, and if you understand where I'm coming from, then advice on how to go about it will be appreciated. Too long didn't read. My girlfriend and I make about the same amount of money, but I spend more money than she does on the relationship and random unnecessary stuff that she wants, even when she doesn't pay any bills, and more than half my income goes to bills. Am I overreacting, and if not, what should I do? First of all, this is a very early relationship. Your bills aren't her problem. That being said, stop being a doormat, dude. If you can't afford something, don't spend the money. If she throws a tantrum cause you want to be an adult with your money, then she's not mature enough for you to be dating anyway. Relationships are a partnership, and yours definitely isn't that, nor will it grow into one until you put your foot down. You have to stop being walked all over. You want an adult relationship? Then tell this stuff to your GF and see if she is ready for an adult relationship. Seems to me that you're more of a bank card than a boyfriend to her. At 21, I wouldn't worry so much about a relationship. Go save your money and enjoy time living your life without the expectations of being someone personal ATM. If you really dig her that much, you're going to have meaningful talk with her. Explain how you feel about it and what it's doing to you financially. If she doesn't change her ways, then leave. Just sit down and talk about your spending and budgeting expectations for the relationship going forward, and stop letting her walk over you. Sounds like you set the precedent of paying for everything at the beginning of the relationship. So you can expect her to expect you to keep blowing your money on whatever she wants from now on. A bit of advice: in future relationships, don't open your wallet so freely until your relationship is established and you both have mutual respect.